was going to be a talk called Secure Dicks, but, fuck off, I failed to acquire the massive dildo I wanted to bring on stage with me, so I was forced to rewrite this talk. Thank you. And so it begins. So, what I'm actually talking about is DIY capitalism. See, there's a conference that was organised around a capitalist model, therefore I'm going to eviscerate it because it will amuse me deeply. So, who am I? Well, my name's Mike, and anybody who's ever seen me before is now freaked out because I'm dressed like a merchant banker that's gone to Walmart to buy a suit. Thank you, Phoenix, for that line. I am a company owner or company co-founder. I'd put myself as founder here because the other founder isn't here, so it's now become my company and he can go fuck himself. I'm allegedly a bad influence, and allegedly I'm a mascot, which is unfortunate for the people whose mascot I am. Alternatively, I'm everything that's wrong with the security industry. This is a quote from the lovely Gregory Evans. If you're young enough and naive enough to not know who Greg was, then you should feel very, very fortunate. Basically, Greg was a lovely individual that in about 2010, 2011, was all over Fox News talking about the cybers and how important the cybers were and how the evil hacksaws were going to fuck shit up. And basically, he was presented as an expert, utilized as an expert, but unfortunately was actually a lying shit. He wrote lots of books, one of which was Anybody Can Be a Hacker, Even Me. And basically, I say he wrote. What I mean by wrote is he basically went to the internet and copied and pasted and then wrote a book. That's how you write, apparently, so that's good. And the industry got up Greg's arse a little bit and called him out on his bullshit, which is always handy. And you would have thought that, you know, an industry of professionals would have run the guy out. Unfortunately, we didn't run him out. This is a screenshot from earlier this year. Rather than being on Fox News, he's now on the Hallmark channel. So his demographics have altered, but he's still out there and he's still talking shit. So all these people that called him out on his shit have done a really shit job. So, well done. You can't even get rid of the world's most obvious fraudster. Hey, come back. You're not leaving. I ain't done yet. Fuck's sake. So, this is a business talk. And I apologize for that. You're at a hacking conference and I'm giving a talk about business. So, you should all feel bad. I say it's a business talk. It's kind of a business talk-ish. And I am sorry, but what I have to say is, I think, important. But then I think everything I say is important because I'm an egomaniac, hence standing here making a twat of myself. So, where to begin? There we go. This man and his friend are the reason why I'm giving this talk. Basically, this may be the last talk I ever give here, largely because this conference might not exist, largely because the country might not exist, because if you elect this fucktard, he's going to kill us all. Basically, what's happened is I think he's played Fallout 4 lots, and he's got a big bag of bottle caps, and he thinks that come Fallout 4, he's going to be a billionaire again. Until he goes bankrupt, or, you know, invest in a casino or something. But yeah, he's one of the reasons why I'm giving this talk. Another reason I'm giving this talk is all of you in this room. Unless you are a student, in which case you have my sympathy, because think about the debt. That'll be fun, kids. Unless you actually have a real job that involves helping people, you basically are part of the problem. You operate in an industry now that has been transformed over the last 15 or 20 years and is now steeped in the military-industrial complex. You know, you basically provide arms. If you're a researcher and you find O-Day, you basically are in a horrible position where I'm stripping out my suit, by the way, because it's restricting. But yeah, you are basically part of a problem that's wider than you are. So, well done. You've sold out. You've got a nice house. You've got a nice car. You may or may not have a nice partner or partners. You may be poly. I don't know. But basically what you are doing is you are propping up a system that's fucked to get a paycheck. So yeah, you're all in whores. This brings me on to my next point about you all being sellouts. This is from The Who Sell Out, which is a shit album. Just like most of the people in this room do a shit job. So enjoy yourselves. So this is a talk with two parts, or a talk of two parts, I should say. The first part, I'm going to piss off everybody in the room, which is fucking stupid because you're American and you have guns. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that because it came with a funny accent. Dealt with that, heckler. So, a bridge. Let's start with a bridge. This is the Menai Bridge. It was built in 1800 to connect Anglesey in Wales to the rest of the UK. Why am I talking about a bridge? Because bridges are fun. This bridge was the first modern suspension bridge. People had built bridges before, but this one used like iron and shit. Ironically enough, it was made by a Scottish guy called Thomas Telford. Nobody's ever heard of Thomas Telford. Everybody's heard of Brunel because he had a big hat and a cigar and massive self-publicity. But no fucker knows who Telford is. But ironically, a Scottish man connected Wales to the UK. You see, nobody in Britain was going to do that, so a Scottish guy had to do it. So, why is that important? Well, it stopped people drowning. I mean, I say people, I mean the Welsh, but they are people. So, the aqueducts. The aqueducts. This is what the Romans did for you. Or, well, the Greeks and, you know, the Indians. And by Indians, I don't mean the ones that you all killed. I mean people in India. Why was the aqueduct important? Well, it stopped people dying of thirst. And it stopped people starving to death because, you know, you could, I don't know, irrigate crops. And Rome had that much grain at the end of it all that they were giving it away for free. They were feeding their population for nothing because of the aqueduct. The aqueduct was useful. The Gutenberg Press, designed by Johannes, not Steve. Steve Gutenberg did not design the Gutenberg Press. I know it's confusing. He was in terrible films and then just disappeared. Nobody knows where he went. But yeah, the Gutenberg Press was released upon the world in about 1440. We know it was 1440 because there was a court case. So the first IP, intellectual property argument, was about a year before. And why did that happen? Well, the guy who invented the press, that's Johannes, not Steve. Basically, we was renting a workshop, and that was attached to a warehouse, and you know, the owner of the warehouse and the owner of the workshop tried to sue him, but he won. And the Gutenberg Press was great because it stopped you being dumb. Well, I mean, I refer you back to my Trump argument, but it stopped some people being dumb. So, the telephone, invented by Alexander Graham Bell or Antonio Meucci. Why do people think it was Alexander Graham Bell? Because Antonio Meucci was too fucking poor to afford the patent fee. So the guy came up with the invention, but didn't patent it, and then Alexander Graham Bell ripped it off. Why was the phone important? Because it stopped people being able to hide from work, and it allowed for communication over distance and reduced time, and you didn't have to send out messengers, and nobody died, and, you know, it was good, it was useful. So, XSS. In Ride the Rapid, which is still not a porn film. I found that, and I was amused. I'd have been more amused if Ride the Rapid was a porn site, but this stopped absolutely nothing. It changed not a thing. Blind Eagle, this is good. This is one of the Kickstarter projects that didn't. It's like a little engine that could, but couldn't actually. Basically, somebody tried to commoditize Signal. And what they did, if I can get my shirt off, was try to get funding for about $1 million to release their own commercial version of Signal. stopped getting funded. That's what this achieved. But my favourite bit about this is the actual picture, which underneath says real life picture, just in case you thought they made it up. But the copywriting on this Kickstarter project was hilarious. It was this shit all along, and people didn't give them any money, which is nice. Hacking team, set up in 2003, died in 2015, owned royally, reamed and fucked by Phineas Fisher, and I laughed my arse off. Now, what did Hacking Team do? Well, they basically sold lawful tools for lawful interception, or unlawful interception, because they sold them to anybody. They didn't care. Oh, you're Egypt. You want to lock up protesters and beat them with sticks. Here, have some software. Oh, you're Tunisia. Have some software. Oh, you're Turkey. Have lots of software. Then you can catch them all and you can kill all their families. They didn't care. They made money until they got wrecked. Zeronomy. I don't know who's behind Zeronomy, but I have a clue. They were set up earlier this year in Milan, about 20 minutes away from the ex-Hacking Team offices. Now, I'm not saying the two organizations are linked in any way, but it's pretty fucking suspicious that they're in the same town. It's also really fucking suspicious if the company themselves don't tell you who's involved. Maybe they just don't want to be hacked again. Who knows? Now, what does Zeronomy do? They basically stop 0 Day feeling neglected and unloved. And burn 0 Day, because that's always fun to do. Talking about 0 Days getting burnt, the NSA, ladies and gentlemen, that shit was hilarious. Their code is terrible, by the way. Don't analyse that code base, you'll go fucking wrong in the head. But let's talk about ANT, the Advanced Network Technology Group, and the catalog that got dumped. Uses lots of shit in there, is concerned with SDR, and basically it stopped open communications. Because before Snowden came along, average people didn't realise that spies spied. Who fucking knew? Now, the point. You, in this room, allegedly call yourself engineers. Now, actual engineers think you're wrong, because you don't make bridges and shit. Which is why I talked about bridges and shit. You see, there is a logic here. I'm not just making this shit up as I go along. Now, the point is, as engineers, what are you building? You're not actually building fucking anything. You're worsening problems if you achieve anything at all. You know, there are some people in this room that will be working on good technology, like privacy tools. However, we now live in an environment where releasing good technology, like privacy tools, gets you put in jail, or shot, or something. And you just disappear into a van. But most people here basically run Nessus, or wants to run Nessus, and support organisations that are a bit shit. And that's kind of got to change, maybe? Maybe think about your lives and what you're doing. So, I said most people. Some people in this room will be looking for a job, which in this economy is fucking stupid. But you may get one, possibly, depending on how much you're prepared to play people and things. But anyway, if you want to get into the industry, you can read to get into this industry. There are now 22 million results for how to be a hacker book on Google. 22 million fucking books, or results thereof. That's a lot of books. You can't read them all. I mean, you're American, you can barely read fucking one. So, the best book, and I think you should all buy this, is Secrets to Becoming a Genius Hacker. Not just a normal hacker, no, a fucking genius one. This book will elevate your mind and take you to places you've never been before, and you will end up being a genius. But there are lots of good books, and there are lots of bad books, is the point. There are less results for how to be an IT security consultant. There are about 2 million, thus proving that hackers are cooler than consultants. But the best thing I found was a WikiHow article about how to become a computer security consultant. How to set up your own consultancy firm in 12 easy steps. Step 1, sell out. Step 2, take it up the arse. And on. However, If you want to be a real hacker, you motherfuckers better eat. I mean, some of you are already in a pretty good place to start this. Some of you have already been eating, haven't you? Like a lot. But you need to be at least 400 pounds. So eat more. I mean, this guy, skinny guy here, you need to eat more, dude. Get on with it, otherwise you'll never be a real hacker. So, let's say you eat and you read and you go to university and eventually you get qualified. Great success! You've got a job, which in this economy, give yourself a slow clap because you have a job, but it's probably not paying very much. And you should feel good. I hope you do feel good if you've got a job, because in essence, you're a fucking whore. That's what you are. You basically go to work and do acts you don't want to do with people you don't want to do them with, and, you know, the guy in charge of you gets more money than you. You're being pimped, you fucking horse. How do you not know this? So you worked really hard and you got in lots of debt, but, you know, you can go down a back alley and you can run a Nessus report. It'll be good. You've done really well. You should feel excellent about yourselves. So, if you join the wrong company, you become part of a puppy farm. Now, what do I mean by a puppy farm? Well, most large consultancy companies like employing recent graduates. Why do they do that? Because recent graduates are cheap. Also, you don't need any skills to do consultancy work at all. You need a laptop and a copy of Nessus. And a puppy farm, basically, is exactly what I say it is. You will go to work for about 8 hours a day, if you're lucky, and you will sit there and you will run Nessus. And when I say there, I mean client side, because you're never going to see your fucking house because you'll have 100% utilization on the road. And you write your report that comes out of the Nessus, you rebadge the Nessus report actually, and you give it to a client, and then eventually you go back to your hotel, and you do it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, until you go fucking insane, and then they sack you, and then they get another one. Now, problem with that model, you have no control over your own production. So, what do I mean by that? I'm talking Marxism in America. This is fucking hilarious. Means of production. So, let's say you work at Ford, who invented the production line, right? You would make a carburetor. Metal would come in, you turn it into something else, namely a carburetor. Carburetor gets put in a car, eventually there's a car. So there's a beginning, and there's an end, and you can see it all. IT security consulting, very different game. So let's say you devote your time and energy and effort and find an O-Day in Adobe, because that's never been fucking done before, has it? So you do it. You've got your buffer overflow. You feel good about yourself. You've got an enormous technical erection at your excellence. You take your O-Day and you give it to your boss. You say, look what I found, aren't I clever? Can I have some more money, please, mister? And your boss takes it away and gives it to his boss, maybe. And it may get used in publicity material for the company you work for, or it may get sold to somebody that you don't like. Not your O-Day anymore, their O-Day. That's the problem. You don't control the means of production. It's very simple. And another thing that's very simple is everybody here is useless, including me. We work in an industry that's bullshit. Pure, unadulterated, unmitigated bullshit. And I'll tell you why. So, this is a survey that Kaspersky released. I hate fucking surveys because there was one released the following day which completely contradicted this. Surveys are written by marketing departments for a fucking reason, folks. Now, what this survey said, however, is that 63% of people in America don't care about cyber at all. They're not worried. They don't give a fuck. Now, this ties back to a point I've got about what's wrong with this industry. And what's wrong with most vendors in this industry, apart from being evil capitalist shitlords. Now, one of the things that's wrong is people are fucking adolescent. This is an industry where people call themselves rock stars. Fuck you, people. Rock stars have groupies. That's how it works. This is an industry where people call themselves ninjas. Now, typically, ninjas don't go on stage talking about how awesome they are. because, you know, they're covert. Again, that's the fucking point. Also, people call themselves pirates. Now, before anybody starts about Captain Mike Sparrow, I'm not a fucking pirate because I don't have any fucking rum. But then people... Always. But, adolescent, you've given yourself stupid fucking names. You know who is a rock star? A fucking ER doctor. Somebody presents with a bullet wound, they take the bullet out, they patch up the wound, the person doesn't die. That's fucking rock star. They did something tangible. You ran fucking Metasploit. Shut the fuck up. Now, this industry is broken. Completely and utterly fucking broken. Why is it broken? Because people have looked at it the wrong way round. We're more and more concerned about, you know, the perimeter and stopping people getting in. Now, most shit happens because stuff leaves the organisation. Not comes in. Why do people hack shit? To get hold of the data. The data's the important bit, you silly bitches. Stop playing with firewalls. Now, another reason why it's broken is it's not tangible. It's not real. I mean, I'll give you an example from the UK, which is where I'm from, hence the silly fucking accent. So there's a company by the name of TalkTalk, and they're an ISP. And TalkTalk got hacked 4 times in a year. 4 times. It was all over the news. People were freaking the fuck out. What happened? Well, what happened is fucking nothing. There was a little drop in the share price, which soon resolved itself. And the management team that were there at the time, including the gobshite of a fucking MD, are still there. They were hacked 4 times. They're still in business. How? There's another company called Target. How you doing, Target employees? Same thing happens to them. They're still in business. It's amazing. You know, shit gets wrecked and nobody goes bankrupt. Shit gets ripped off left, right and centre. Customers are defrauded. There's massive, massive problems. And nobody's going to jail. It's hilarious. So, another thing that's hilarious, and I apologise to Bug Crowd because I know they're here. Bug bounties. They're bullshit. Why are they bullshit, Mike? We can get 10 grand. Well, the only way to actually get any money from a bug bounty is to industrialise the process. So basically devoting all your time and all your resources to research and generating your own tools to do that. Now, bug bounties are a bit weird in as much that they stop organisations getting pen tested. They're brilliant. Basically, it's like, okay, rather than getting 1 trained monkey, what we'll do is we'll get 10,000 semi-trained monkeys, and maybe they'll have the same results. So, you know, rather than having Shakespeare, you've got, 1,000 monkeys on keyboards. You're not going to get something tangible from this. And bug bounties are hilarious because they are about exploitation, which is why people like this freak the fuck out. This entire thing, where some guy called a representative of Uber a fucking taxi driver, was because they deducted a reputation point. Not because there was any cash involved, but just because they made him look a bit bad. That's fucked up. Not as fucked up as this dude, who basically needed to pay his rent. This is actually a legitimate report where basically somebody is saying, can I have $500? Can I have $500? Can I have $500? Can I have $500? Ad nauseum. Why? Because he found a bug. And that bug was worth $500 because he priced it in his own head and everything and new market values. Another thing that's wrong, who are you, if you run a company, who are you most scared of? Auditors or attackers? Probably auditors, because they'll come in and they'll give you a bad report and your boss will tell you off. You know, most people's focus in this industry is about auditing, not about attacking. And that's bullshit. Because you know who does attack? Actual fucking attackers. Them don't care about your fucking PCI scope. I mean, I will give you an example from my own life. So, I got told off last week quite badly. Because the white label company that I was working for at the time gave me a scope. And it was a application that sat in a directory on a website. Not a subdomain, you know, but a directory. So what I did is that I found other applications that lived in other directories. And one of them had RCE. And then we, you know, got into their internal estate. And then we got their databases. And then we chortled. And then we laughed. But apparently, that was bad. because we didn't focus on the single directory. Scope. It's bullshit. If you run a company, everything is in fucking scope. The people, the machines, the process, all of it. Also, if you hire a pen test company and they say, we can work to your scope, what they're effectively doing is being fucking whores. Question why they are doing that. Just an idea. So, I've told you that everything's fucked. What's my solution? My solution is very fucking simple. Burn the fucker down. Get some petrol, get some matches, and burn it. It's gone wrong. Put a bullet in its fucking head and torch the body. That's what you need to do. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in my second part. But before I do that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to relax some more. So bear with me a minute. Yes! Penises! Pour the penises down! That motherfuckers is called stagecraft. And dicks aren't evil. And you missed. So many dicks. Both on the stage and off the stage. I'm surrounded by them. So, the second part of this talk is where I commit commercial seppuku, which is actually the entire point of this talk. So, what do I mean by commercial seppuku? Well, let's talk about business for a little while, shall we? So, Route 9B, they're worth 30 million. They're a security company. Palo Alto, allegedly a security company, but worth a shitload of money. A number I can't even say. NCC Group, big consultants in the UK and the US, worth $204 million. MWR, tiny little company in the UK, worth $15 million. Zyphos Research, my company, worth negative $1,200. Woohoo! I fucking rock at capitalism. So, whilst I'm talking for the next bit, maybe consider this. What comes out of my mouth may actually just be shit. So, as I said earlier, if you work in this industry, you're a whore. Now, how do you stop being a whore? You become the pimp. Then you get yourself a bottom bitch and you set yourself up in business. Now, if you want to become a pimp, it's very simple. I have a plan. It's got 3 stages. That's what I'm going to be talking about. You need logistics, loyalty, and change. Or the LLC model. See, I told you it was a fucking business talk, didn't I? So, with regards logistics, the first thing you need is co-conspirators. These people will absorb some of your guilt. So when the police come, you can say, it wasn't me, it was him. I have no proof it was him, but you have no proof it was me. So, haha, legal stalemate. How do you find conspirators? Easily. What you do is you talk to people. You have friends. And even if you don't work for the same organization currently, you can make them eventually, because eventually their pimp will slap them too hard. Now, once you've found the people, you need the equipment. What equipment do you need? You need a laptop. That's it. And maybe a couple of licenses. That's about $2,000. Go to eBay, you can do it for £200. It may be somebody else's laptop, and it may even come with free data. Woohoo! But really cheap. What are you doing? Why are you working for other people? You also need logistics. And what do I mean by logistics? You need to fucking manage everything. It's a pain in the arse. I speak from deep, bitter personal experience. You need report templates. You need policies. You need marketing materials. You need an accountant. You need a lawyer because you live in America. Tee-hee-hee. You need all of this shit before you even go out to market. It costs a lot of money because it costs a lot of time. And it sucks. And what you also need to do, and I've learned this the hard way, is when you get paid, put some money away because the government comes along at some point and takes it off you. Otherwise, what happens is you run around when tax bills come through the door, and have to hide from the bailiffs. I know this. I've done this. It's hilarious. They're like vampires. They can't come in without an invitation. So you can just stand at the door and go, nope, 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 nope. And it really does piss them off after a while. So you also need customers. Customers are great. We love customers. Why are customers great? Because they give you money and allow you to do capitalism. Yay, drinking tokens. Thanks, customer. How do you get customers? Easy. White label. White labeling is fucking horrible. You basically do shit work. You get told off for going off scope. And you get paid fuck all. But one advantage of it, they've already got a market. Most auditing companies have a pen test offering. Most auditing companies have a pen tester that consists of a monkey with a copy of Nessus. Now, as long as you can do a better job than somebody with a copy of Nessus, they're going to employ you. Albeit in a contract capacity, albeit you presenting to market under their name and under their banner. But this is where the crafty bit comes in, you see. This is where the seppuku bit comes in, because you can basically steal their customers. I mean, you're not supposed to do that, but if they don't write a non-compete agreement because they're a bit dumb, then you can take their customers. Just saying, it happens. Yeah. Let's talk about loyalty. Loyalty is really, really, really important. I'm not just talking about loyalty to the customer, because let's face it, most customers out there are dicks. Let's be straight. You know, if I'm working for a financial, for example, I don't care if they go bankrupt. In fact, if they're a financial, I want them to go bankrupt, because then the entire system of global capitalism comes down and that amuses the shit out of me. But what I do care about is their customers, their end customer, who's like a 90-year-old living in a trailer that's got 10 grand in the bank. I don't want her to be without 10 grand, because then she'll die and I'll feel bad and that will suck. But I don't care about the customer so much as the customer's customers. I mean, I am sort of loyal to our customer base, but that's only because they pay me, like the mercenary whore that I am. But also, you need loyalty to your own team. That's massively important, because unless you have that, no fucker's going to work for you. Unless they know that you have them, they won't work with you. They'll go somewhere else. Now, talking about loyalty, why is there a picture of an empty plate? Because if you run your own shit, this is what you have to deal with every fucking day. I have not been paid, personally, in about 4.5 years. All I do is cover my rent. All I do is cover other people's rent. All I do is pay the fucking tax man. Why? Because I'm trying to put everything we earn back into the company. That's why I eat last. And if you're going to do this shit, you have to eat last, which is why you have to change the mindset of, oh, if I work for somebody else, I can get a nice house and a nice car and a lovely jet ski, or what the fuck ever. No, don't do that. You know, it's called sacrifice, which is an odd concept, I know. I mean, long-haired guy talking about sacrifice. Maybe I'm Jesus. Another guy who thought he was Jesus was Manson. Manson was awesome. Maybe you need to rephrase that. Okay, before he became a murderous, racist shitlord, Manson was awesome. Yeah, that's a bit bad. Now, why was Manson awesome? Because basically, he built a community, and that's what business is. You know, it is a collection of people all working together for the end result. Now, that end result may be helter-skelter and stabbing people to death in Hollywood. I hope it's not. But if you know, it's the same kind of model, apart from the culty bit and, you know, the charismatic leader bit and stuff. So, change. The last bit, the most important bit, the thing that every one of you in this room has to do. If it's fucked, and you know it's fucked, because you've been working in this industry long enough to recognize it's fucked, then do something the fuck about it. Seriously, if your boss is a dick, go in and resign. Yes, it will suck. Yes, it will be fucking terrifying, but you won't have to cope with their shit anymore. And that's got to be worth something, no? You know, my entire point to come in here, apart from to get royally pissed and get missed with the balsa, was basically to persuade every one of you in this room, if you work in a shit job, quit. I want, hopefully, to be named in a resignation letter. I want somebody to say, Mike Kemp told me he quit, so I did, because I'll find that hilarious. But seriously, if you work for a puppy farm, if you work for a bastard pimp, then stop being a whore. Be your own whore. It's pretty fucking simple. If I can do it, you can do it. You know, I'm retarded. Every year, I come here and have to give a talk. And the night before, every year, I go out and get fucked up. And I wake up every morning, or afternoon, that I'm due to speak, barely able to fucking walk, or see, or know who the fuck I am. This morning I woke up naked in a hotel room, which was mine, thankfully, with no idea how I got to the hotel room, and got to be naked. And I looked in the mirror, and I was fucking terrified, because I thought a naked man had broken in. That's how fucked up I am. And yet I don't work for a shitlord. Why the fuck do you? So, this brings me on to my final point. Change. Why is there a picture of 19th century anarchists? Well, one of the things I've been doing recently is writing about 19th century anarchists. You know, people that committed regicides and, you know, blew shit up and stabbed people and were generally a bit dickish. But they had a very important place called the Autonomy Club, which was down in London. And what happened at the Autonomy Club is lots of people from around Europe got together and conspired and plotted and then fucked off and did their own thing. You know, like a cell or something. Probably the wrong phrasing to use in America. But anyway, why am I talking about that? Because basically small groups or small individuals worked together towards a collective aim, the destruction of capitalism. Now, why is that important? Because if you go out and you set up your own company, which I hope you do, then you will be motivated, I think, probably, because most people are, to try and be, I don't know, Microsoft or Google or RSA. Hello, RSA people. You will want to be big. You will want to be massive. You will want to have a nice house. This is bullshit, because large companies are not specialists. And this is going to make me sound like a hipster twat, but if you work in security, be an artisan, be a craftsman, specialize in something. And if you do that, you'll get customers for that specialism. And if you don't, if you get customers that are trying to use you to do something else, refer it on. You know, free is free. Give that work away. Don't try and do it yourself and fuck shit up even more, which is what the large companies do. Just give it to a specialist. Share the cake, you motherfuckers, because that way everybody eats. You know, and maybe, just fucking maybe, things start improving. And maybe people stop getting ripped off every 5 fucking minutes. And maybe the ashes of this fucking industry can be turned into something nice and something good and something that actually does have an intrinsic value and a fucking point. Which is kind of my point. So, anyway, I'm finishing early. I'd like to say thank you to you all for listening. Please reference me in your resignation letter. And if you do, please send me a copy of your resignation letter, because I will print it out and I will surround myself with them and roll in people's resignations. So, thanks very much. If you want to write to me to tell me to fuck off or to send a legal demand, please do so. And on that note, we out. Thanks for having me.